You know, I'm a firm believer in the pantry principle, which states that when armed with a well-stocked cupboard, the cook never runs dry on edible options. But I have to admit, sometimes even a packed cupboard such as this looks oddly barren. I mean, it's not the pantry's fault, of course. It's mine. Like so many other cooks, I've become too set in my ways.
Trying to pump out another one of those pantry raid shows, huh?
It's Alvin the Albacore.
Oh, how nice. You remember.
His picture was on every can of tuna that I ate when I was a kid, and I ate a lot of canned tuna.
Yeah, I haven't seen much of you since.
Well, I grew up.
Yeah, I know. You became this big shot TV cook. Don't need Alvin anymore. Don't need my flaky goodness.
It's just as the taste matures.
Oh, what is it now? Hand massage, sake-fed, bluefin tuna at a Benjamin a bite?
It's not like that. It's just...
Don't worry about it. I've come to accept the fact that all I'm good for is old lady casseroles and lunchbox sandwiches. There's not much future in being Alvin the Albacore, that's for sure. You know, I doubt there's anyone in the world brave enough, clever enough, skilled enough in the ways of the kitchen to ever turn old can-bound Alvin into...
Okay, maybe Alvin the Albacore is right. After all, the patron saint of American gastronomes, James Beard, was heard to say that tuna was the only ingredient that was better canned than fresh. But what can you do with a product that is so limited? After all, what are your choices? Stuff that looks like cat food in oil and stuff that looks like cat food in... Oh, my. Well, this certainly is not my mother's canned tuna. I've got some investigating to do. Hey, get away from there. Beat it, you cats. Oh, now here's what I've learned. Although other varieties sneak in from time to time, if the words light and chunk are on the can, the pieces interred therein are probably skipjack tuna, which looks a little like this. It should be noted this fish only has a 3-year lifespan and an average catch weight of 3 to 7 pounds, so small fish. Now, many different types of tuna can be referred to as fancy or solid tunas, but by law, only albacore can be sold as white tuna.
Did somebody order the albacore?
Yeah, but, you know, actually I was hoping for not a showbiz fish, something, you know, a little bit more scientifically correct.
No, you can't do that. It's in my contract. I have albacore exclusivity.
Okay, fine. As you can see, the albacore is much larger than the skipjack, with an average market weight between 20 and 40 pounds and a lifespan of up to 5 years, although obviously some can grow much fatter. Albacore solid tuna is just that. The fish is steamed to ease deboning, and then a can-sized section of loin muscle is just punched out of the carcass and entombed. The result, a solid piece of meat. Almost all fancy white tuna, by the way, is packed in salt water these days.
Yeah, I'm the creme de la creme. Yes, sir.
Yes, creme de la creme. Hey, you know, those cats sound hungry. I think I'll let them in.
Hey, no, hey, up, tuna, up!
There he is, guys. Go ahead, lunch is up. Go get him. Of course, if there's one thing that canned tuna lovers wonder, it's why doesn't canned tuna taste anything like tuna? The answer? Well, why not ask the man himself, the inventor of canning, ladies and gentlemen, Nicholas Appert. Nick, it is so good to finally have you on this show. The can, a huge success, right? Huh? How did it happen?
I did not invent the can. I invented canning, which is better.
Well, okay. Tell us about that.
Well, in 1800, Bonnie had many...
Wait a second. Bonnie, you mean Napoleon Bonaparte?
Oui, Bonnie to his friends. Anyway, he had armies stretched all over creation, but he had no way to feed them. So he posted a 12,000 franc reward to anyone who could come up with a preserved and stable food source. After many years of experimentation, I discovered that if I sealed the food airtight in a heavy bottle and then boiled the bottle for many hours, the air was forced out and the food preserved.
That explains the texture and flavor of canned tuna. It's overcooked. And by the way, it wasn't the air.
Pardon?
That preserve the food. It's not pushing the air out. It's the fact that the long cooking process kills all the bacteria. Canned food is essentially pasteurized.
Oh, Pasteur! He always gets all the credit. I came one
Well,
hundred
okay,
years.
let's change the subject. We'll do that. We'll change the subject.
Very
Let's talk about the can, the development of the can itself. Tell us about that.
That was not me. That was Pierre Durand, the thief.
Who also happens to be the next guest on our show. That's right. Give it up, ladies and gentlemen, for the inventor of tin cans, Peter Durand.
Yeah. You have some nerve showing up here with your face, you thief.
Easy, Jag. Keep it up front, will you? Monsieur Brown, I bring you a tin of fine tuna from Genoa.
Wow, it's rusty.
Well, it is iron. We coat it with tin to prevent corrosion.
Okay.
It is old, it's fine, you eat.
It's not old, it is decrepit. Look at it dripping all its badness.
Thank you for warming up the room for me, Nick. You may go.
Why are you talking like this? You're not French, you're English.
I am a citizen of the world.
You are a thief and an imposter.
No.
Put up your dukes.
Gentlemen, I'm not
Come on,
sure
bring it.
this is really the
I will
place
throw
for.
you into the dirt.
I wonder if Mike Douglas had days like this. For those of you who think that Americans invented canned tuna, check this out. Aristotle wrote of salted tuna preserved in terracotta jars being sold by the ancient Greeks to the Carthaginians. So there. Of course, if we've learned anything here today through the unfortunate Pierre Durand incident, it is that when tuna goes into a can, it has to be cooked and then sealed in the can and then cooked again in a process called retort to kill any lurking microorganisms. The results are massively overcooked and, frankly, not very satisfactory. Now, tuna sealed in airtight pouches is different because pouches offer more surface area so that second cooking can be done very, very quickly because the heat doesn't have to penetrate a 4-inch hockey puck. The result, a pleasing texture and flavor that's almost like fresh. And of course, pouches have the added benefit of not perforating the handler with, oh, thing. I'm surprised at you. The fresher flavor of pouched tuna certainly comes through in hot applications, such as my childhood favorite, tuna croquettes. Croquettes. We begin with a standard 7-ounce pouch of albacore tuna, drained and shredded, please, like this. Now, we'll need some protein to hold things together, and that is where 2 large eggs, lightly beaten, come in. We'll also need to hold some moisture in, so a 1/4 cup of Japanese-style breadcrumbs will be very handy. As for flavor, we'll brighten things up with 1 teaspoon of freshly squeezed lemon juice. Add some tang with just a couple of teaspoons of Dijon. You can eyeball that, about there. We will have 1/2 teaspoon of kosher salt. The fish will need it. 2 green onions, chopped nice and fine. And last but not least, a good grind of black pepper. There. Now, use a spatula and bring together, but don't mash it into a paste. Now, to dose that out, we will use a 2 tablespoon, there it is, or a 1-ounce disher. This one's my favorite. We're also going to need 1 sheet pan and some parchment paper. There, that's good. Now, just start dishing them out. And I like to kind of use the spatula and the disher at the same time. There, don't pack it in. That's important. Now, if there is a secret to manufacturing croquettes, it is this. These little guys must sit and rest for 15 minutes before moving off to the breading station. That will allow time for the breadcrumbs to absorb whatever internal moisture they can hold, and whatever they can hold will migrate out onto the paper. This is critical if these guys are going to hold their shape in the pan. Rest time is over. It is time to bread our croquettes. I have 1/2 cup of additional Japanese breadcrumbs. Here's how it goes. With With all of your croquettes assembled, time to fetch down a big old 12-inch skillet, slope sides, or saute pan, straight sides. You could do this in a smaller vessel, but you would have to work in batches, and I just don't see any reason to do that. So this will go over medium heat. Now, as far as lubrication goes, I prefer olive oil, plain old olive oil, not extra virgin, nothing fruity and special, no fancy containers, no expensive flavors lost to high heat. And we're going to use just enough to coat the bottom of the pan, about a tablespoon. There, we don't want any more than that because it'll start to splatter and it'll get nasty on us. There, once we've got just a bit of a shimmer, move these guys over, and you want to use as thin a spatula as you have so they won't fall apart. Keep them separated, and I'm going to work in kind of a circle here. There shouldn't be a lot of sizzling yet. We want the cooking to be relatively slow. And we don't want them to touch. Now, ordinarily, I would say to cook this until golden brown and delicious and then flip and repeat. But we really need to make sure that the inside is thoroughly cooked. So we're going to go for a 3-minute cook time. If, during that time, the underside starts to look too golden brown and delicious, turn down the heat. 3 minutes. That's our target. As long as you're not too rough, flipping should be pretty easy because the breadcrumb on the bottom is now thoroughly set. Delicious. And if some of the rants coming out of the popular press are correct, terribly dangerous to boot. The possible problem? Mercury. Ah, cool stuff, mercury. I remember my grandparents had a big jar of it, and I would pour it out and play with it for hours. Unfortunately, now we know that it is easily absorbed into the body, even by the skin, and that can cause serious problems, which is why we couldn't actually get hold of any. So, how is it that mercury gets into our fish? Well, I'll tell you. Mercury naturally occurs in many rocks, like coal. Burn the coal at, say, a power plant, and the mercury goes skyward from the plant smokestacks. Precipitation carries it back to the ground, where streams and rivers then move it into the sea. There, it is set upon by bacteria, which turn it into the far more dangerous methylmercury. Microscopic amounts end up in small fish, which are consumed by medium fish, which are then consumed by large predators, including big tuna, which, due to their long lifespans, tend to store up more mercury in their bodies than other fish. When we eat them, some small portion of the mercury becomes ours for a long time. So here we have this powerful pantry pal, chock full of culinary possibilities and nutritional goodness, which most of us grew up munching, that could possibly, maybe, be dangerous to who? High levels of mercury in the bloodstream of unborn babies and young children may harm the developing nervous system. With this in mind, the FDA and the EPA have designed an advisory for children, pregnant women, nursing mothers, and women considering becoming pregnant in the near future. 1. Avoid consuming shark, swordfish, king mackerel, or tilefish, which can contain high levels of mercury. 2. Consume up to 12 ounces a week, approximately 2 meals, of a variety of fish and shellfish that are lower in mercury, such as canned light tuna. Oh, you know, remember, canned light tuna more often than not means skipjack, a relatively small variety that doesn't grow big enough or live long enough to accumulate much mercury. Albacore or white tuna can contain more mercury than canned light tuna. So, when choosing your 2 meals of fish and shellfish, we recommend you consume up to 6 ounces of albacore tuna per week. Yellowfin and bluefin tuna can harbor even higher levels of the stuff. But keep in mind that tuna is a treasure trove of nutrition, including vitamin D, selenium, protein, and omega-3 fatty acids, which are critical to the development of sound minds and strong bodies. So be a good tyke and eat your tuna. Well, hey, how about me? Given your age and weight, you can eat all you want. Looks like he's doing that already. For decades, American dieters have turned to high-protein, low-fat canned tuna to shed the pounds.
Yeah, that never really worked for me.
You eat canned tuna. I want you to think about it, because that's creepy. Problem is, most Americans mix in gobs of mayonnaise, not exactly a reductive ingredient. Now, down Riviera Way, the French dine upon a fussy tuna salad called salad niçoise, which features canned tuna along with raw green beans, olives, potatoes, and hard-cooked eggs.
Now, what do raw green beans have to do with salad?
I don't know. I mean, these are the people that think Jerry Lewis is a genius.
Well, what's wrong with that? Have you ever seen The Geisha Boy?
You know, that said, I'm not a big fan of salad niçoise, but I am a fan of the tuna that often goes into it. It's a special canned tuna called ventresca, which comes from the Italian word for belly. And you can tell by looking at the grain structure that it is definitely a different beast. Now, the best examples of this come from Spain. To be honest, I would rather eat this tuna than any other kind.
Even more than massaged, sake-fed bluefin?
Even more than that. What's especially nice to find is that although it's pricey, it is becoming easier to find in the U.S. thanks to the good old internet. Now, I say that we take this tuna back to America and we make ourselves a tuna salad that will not only be nutritionally sound, but it'll also be sophisticated. Kind of thing you might use to impress your friends or scare your enemies. Now, the first step is we need to drain this tuna while keeping it as intact as possible. That's part of the charm of this stuff. So we'll just kind of work it out of the can and reserve the oil because it is mighty tasty stuff. Stash this in the chill chest while you assemble the rest of the parts list. Now, you might want to eat this dish as a salad, but then you might want to eat it as a little wrap, and that will necessitate a flexible base layer, like, for instance, butter lettuce leaves, which you will wish to rinse and pat dry. We'll also require 1 red or orange bell pepper, a chopped hard-cooked egg, some capers, and, if you have them, some microgreens. Also, luscious black lava sea salt, which gets its distinct color and subtle earthy flavor from the addition of purified black lava and activated charcoal. I keep the stuff around because I think it looks cool. You can get it online or at gourmet stores, or you can skip it and just use coarse sea salt. Oh, you're also going to need 1 shallot, which is a lot easier to find. Although it is certainly sophisticated, this salad is not in any way, fashion, or form fussy. And of course, since it's a tuna salad, the pounds are going to drop right off. Pounds are melting, dropping right off. Oh, bother. If you're into classical Italian cuisine, you may have heard of the peculiar yet delicious vitello tonnato, or cold veal and tuna sauce. Now, I'm not a big veal fan, but I am a big fan of tuna sauce, which, with the proper acidic additives, can become one of the healthiest and creamiest dip, salad dressing, breakfast spread, car waxes around. Now, once again, I'm going to reach for the pouched product, which has become my everyday tuna. To that, we will add 1/4 cup of mayonnaise. Homemade would be best. A couple of tablespoons of red wine vinegar. A tablespoon of freshly squeezed lemon juice. 1 tablespoon of olive oil, a tablespoon of capers along with their juice, and a couple of grinds of black pepper. Everything goes into the work bowl of your food processor. Of course, that's a little too big, so if your food processor has that cute little work bowl insert, you'll want to use it. Now, the obvious choice for this sauce is to dress your favorite salad greens with it. But I say, why stop there? Why not invite it to your next crudité or spread it on your morning toast? Toss it with pasta and vegetables for pasta salad. Heck, it's even a great dunk for Girl Scout cookies. Okay, it's not great at everything, but say, if you have any left over, you can store it in an airtight container in the fridge for up to 4 days. Alvin, you were right. As long as we've got a pantry full of canned and pouched tuna, we will never run out of culinary possibilities. Thanks, man.
Don't mention it, kid. Listen, I gotta catch a current.
Where you headed?
Spain. See, I figure if I can make it in the pouch market, I'm gonna turn some of this punch into that fancy Ventresca stuff.
Sure. Hey, Alvin, why is it you anthropomorphized food mascots always want somebody to eat you?
It's just the way we're wired. Besides, who wouldn't want to end up as good eats?
Yeah.
See you later, man.
Bye. Well, I don't know about you, but I'm more than happy to stay on the handle end of the fork, if you know what I mean. Well, I hope that we've inspired you to, see you next time.